Hello everyone. So we are going to see another type of derivatives today, which are known as options. We have already studied what is meant by futures and forwards. So they are also derivatives because again their price is depending on price of an underlying asset, which could be a share or which could be some physical asset like say gold or say oil, etc. Now we are going to talk about options. Okay. As the name suggests, there is going to be some sort of choice in this, hence the name option. Okay, so there are two major types of options. One is European option and other is American option. And on the basis of the exact definition of derivative, there are again two types of options. One is known as call option and another is known as put option. So in all, by combination of European, American with call and put, we are going to study four types of options. European call option, European put option, American call option and American put option. Okay. These are the usually used standard acronyms. So this is European call, then European put, then American call and American put. Okay, so CP, CAPA are standard acronyms used for this. So first let us see what is meant by a call option. Okay. There are again two people involved in doing the transaction, just like future or forward. So one of them would be known as writer of the option or seller of the option. Okay, so one person involved in the transaction would be writer or seller of the option and another is known as holder or buyer of the option. Okay, so writer and holder, or an equivalent terminology is seller and buyer. I would prefer to use writer and holder because of the definition of option there can be some confusion about these terms. Okay, you will realize once we define this. So I would prefer the terms writer and holder. So you can see that holder means the person who has the option, who holds the option. Okay, so he or she has the choice. Okay, whereas writer has written off that choice, means he or she has given away that choice to other person. Okay, so what happens in a call option? So in call option, holder of the option has a right but not an obligation. Holder of the option has right but not an obligation to buy the underlying asset at time t at the rate of k from the writer of the option. What do I mean by this? Let me try to explain whatever is written over here. Okay. So suppose we have two people. Okay. And person A is suppose holder of the option, holder of a call option. We are talking only about call option right now. And person B is writer of the call option. Okay. And this person has a right, and how does the person get right? this right is obtained by paying certain basic token fee at the beginning. Okay, so this right is obtained by paying a small fee of rupees C at time 0. Time 0 means present time. Okay, so what do I mean by this? So let us try to draw pictures and things would be clear. So I have this timeline. This is time 0, time t. So at time 0 what happens? Holder purchases some right, means we say that holder gets the call option. Okay, that's why actually the another word for holder is buyer. Did we see it? That's why actually another word for holder is buyer. Okay. So at time 0 what happens? Person A pays rupees C to person B. Okay, person A pays rupees C as a fee to person B. What is the use of this fee? In return of this fee, at time t, person is going to have some right. So what is that right? So at time t, A has a right. So A has a choice to buy underlying asset from B at price K, irrespective of whatever happens in the market. So even if market price is much larger than K, it doesn't matter. Because initially A had paid rupees C here, he has now a choice. B will have to sell to him at price K. Okay. And we are saying he has a choice. So it's not a compulsion. So if the market price is less than K, person A won't buy from B. He would buy from the market at a less price. So in this sense, option is different than forward or future because here one party has a choice. And of course, because they have a choice, in return of that choice, they have to pay something. So that is the initial fee that they pay. Okay. Let me give some non-financial example. So, okay. So suppose you are staying in the hostel. Okay. You're staying in the hostel, and because you're staying in the hostel, you have purchased your own mattress. Okay. So you have purchased your own mattress, and now that you are going to finish your MSc, you are no longer going to need that mattress. And you live far away from Pune, so it's really difficult to carry the mattress to your hometown. So you are planning of getting away with that mattress here itself. Okay. Of course, one option is just throw it out or just leave it in the room. Whoever comes next will do whatever they want to do. But that's not a good option. So you decided, okay, let us see if it is possible to earn some money. So you talk to your junior who has been say selected over here. Okay. Is he or she interested in the mattress? The person says, yes, I am interested, very much interested. So you people start bargaining, and what your junior says is that your junior is not yet certain whether he or she would be okay with an old mattress that you have. So he says, okay, let me have some choice. So he says that, okay, take this 25 rupees. Okay, so this is your junior. Okay, so junior says, take this 25 rupees. Why I am giving you this 25 rupees? You are not supposed to sell this mattress to anyone else till I give you my decision. And of course, you have to set some date. Take this 25 rupees and wait till say June 15. Okay. And on June 15, you may have to give the mattress to me at say rupees 300. Okay, you may have to sell the mattress to me at say rupees 300. Okay, what is your job now? So you receive 25 rupees, but because of that 25 rupees that you received today, now you have a compulsion that you have to wait till June 15, and on June 15 you will have to sell the mattress to your junior if he or she wants it at rupees 300, even if you have another buyer who may be willing to buy at 500. Okay, because you have taken these 25 rupees at the beginning, now you can't run away. You don't have a choice, but your junior has a choice because he or she has paid you 25 rupees. Okay, so they say that fine, what they are going to do, your junior is, what he or she is going to do is, they'll search the market, they'll search the other people in the hostel. If they can buy another mattress which is also decent at the rate which is less than 300, they'll just tell you, okay, I don't need it now. They have that right. And then you can do whatever you want with your mattress. However, if they don't get another mattress below 300, they'll come to you on June 15. You'll have to sell to them at 300, irrespective of whether you have another potential buyer who is paying you more or not. Okay, so your junior becomes holder of the call option and you become writer of the call option. So you wrote off the call option by receiving this 25 rupees today. So now you have given him or her the choice, and the junior has the choice to exercise that call option or not. Okay, so exercising the call option means actually executing this transaction, means actually buying the mattress from you. But if the junior feels that this transaction is not profitable anymore, he or she can choose not to exercise the option. Not to exercise the option means they won't do this transaction. They are free to do whatever they want. You are free to do whatever you want. Is it okay? Is it clear? So unlike futures and forwards, at time t, the transaction is not guaranteed. I mean, the happening of transaction is not guaranteed. There is a chance that it may happen, but it need not happen with 100% certainty, and one party has a choice to back out. Okay, so that's why this is called as options. So what are the payoffs? Let us consider payoffs. So suppose S0 is the current price of the asset. Another term that we can use is spot price of the asset. ST is price of the asset, underlying asset at time capital T. Okay, K was the price that we agreed upon, so K is known as strike price. Okay, in case of future forwards we were calling it future price or forward price, but in case of options it is called as strike price, because price of option is the initial amount that you pay. So C is known as option price. So that is a price that it's a very small percentage of this. Okay, so C is much smaller than ST or S0. Okay, ST is of course unknown, but C is a very small portion of S0. Okay. Okay, so how would the payoffs look like? Now at time 0, for holder of the option, the payoff is minus C, right? The person pays C rupees to get the choice, and for writer of the option it is obviously plus C, because holder pays writer plus C rupees to get the choice. Okay. At time T, what can happen? Now there are two possibilities. So if the actual price of the asset is less than K, then something is going to happen, and if actual price is greater than K, then something is going to happen. Equality I can include anywhere. It's a ST is a price, so it's a continuous random variable, so it doesn't matter where I include equality. Okay. Okay, so if ST is less than K, means if in the market the same item is available at a price less than the strike price, then why would the holder pay strike price? No, he wouldn't. The holder would think, why to pay this much rupees if I can get the same thing at this rupees which is less. So here option won't be exercised. Okay, option won't be exercised. So payoffs are 0. Holder doesn't give any money to writer, writer doesn't receive any money. Okay. However, if in the market the price is ST which is greater than K, then now holder has a chance of making profit. What he can do is, he can buy it at rupees K, whereas worth of it is ST. So the additional price means ST minus K becomes profit of the holder. Okay. So here option will be exercised. Option will be exercised means the transaction for which the initial fee had been paid would actually happen. Holder pays K rupees to buy the asset and writer has to sell the asset. Okay. So the what is the profit and loss here? So for holder of the option, now ST minus K would become profit in this case, and of course for writer that would be loss. So this is profit for holder, but for writer it becomes loss. Why? Because he could have sold the same thing in the market at ST, but he had to sell at a lesser price because of the agreement, because of the call option. Okay. So let us see the payoff. How would we drew a diagram for payoff. So 0. So this axis is for ST. So when ST is less than K, something happens. When ST is greater than K, something happens. Okay, so for whom we are doing this? So for holder, suppose I am writing. So if ST is less than K, then we saw that the option won't be exercised. So holder just loses the amount C. Initial amount C is lost. Okay, so it is C here, suppose minus C actually. So this is the payoff. Okay. Okay. But as I said, most of the times this C is very small, so we can currently ignore it and we can say that we are considering payoff purely at time t because C is very small. Then from 0 to K, payoff would be 0, and from K onwards it would be an increasing payoff, and it would be linearly increasing because it is ST minus K. So as ST increases, it goes on increasing. Okay, so this is a profit for holder, and the same thing is actually loss for the writer. So for writer, the payoff would be up to K, again it is 0, and then it becomes negative of ST minus K. So it goes on like this. Okay, this is again at time t. Okay, so this is the scenario. So writer can at most have the profit of the initial C rupees only. At time 0, writer will never have the profit. Okay, only the initial C rupees. So if the transaction is not happening, means if the option is not exercised, then the initial rupees C that the writer has received becomes a pure profit. Okay, so that becomes loss for the holder. However, otherwise, if the transaction is exercised, holder would always be in profit, whereas writer would always be in loss. So for holder, there is an upper bound on loss, which is at most those initial C rupees. Okay, whereas for writer, there is an upper bound on profit. Loss can be anything. So for writer, at most the profit that he or she can receive is C, and for holder, the loss, maximum loss possible is C rupees. Is it okay? Is it clear? Okay. So this is about call option. Now, what is a put option? So in put option, of course, some of the things are common, like initially the holder pays a certain fee, we call it P, and at time T, holder has a right to do something. Okay, so in put option, holder of the option has a right to sell, right, but not an obligation to sell a certain asset at time T at price K to the writer of the option. Okay, holder of the option has a right but not an obligation to sell a certain asset at time T at price K to the writer of the option, and this choice is obtained by paying initial fee of rupees P. This choice is obtained by paying a fee of rupees P at time 0. Okay, so the difference between call and put is whether it is right to buy or right to sell. Okay, so put is right to sell. What is meant by this? So at time 0, what is going to happen? Holder pays P to writer. Okay, and at time T, again there are two possibilities. What happens if ST is less than K, and what happens if ST is greater than or equal to K. Okay, so if ST is less than K, means if the market price is less, then the holder will say, okay, if I sell in the market, I am going to get ST rupees, but if I sell to the writer of the option, I am going to get K rupees, which is larger. So it would be a profit to me. So the option would be exercised. Okay, the option would be exercised, and writer must buy the asset by paying rupees K. Okay, writer must buy the asset by paying rupees K. On the other hand, if ST is greater than or equal to K, means if the holder sees that he or she can sell in the market at ST, then what is the point in selling at a low price? So, option won't be exercised. Option won't be exercised. Writer gets the initial P rupees and he is happy. He doesn't have to do anything. Okay. So what are the profits and losses and payoffs here? So for holder of the option, now what we know is, when is he or she in the profit? If ST is less than K, right? If ST is greater than K, then there is no profit. So again we are ignoring the initial P rupees. So if suppose, so sorry, this is ST, axis is ST, so this is K. So when ST is less than K, then the holder is going to have profit. So if ST is 0, suppose, then entire K amount is pure profit, and then it goes on decreasing like this, and after this point it is 0. Okay, this is a straight line. Okay, the curves are accidental. This is a straight line. After this it is 0. Okay, whereas for writer of the option, if ST is less than K, then it is loss. Okay, so initial loss is K, so this is minus K, so it is like this, and after this it is 0. Okay, because when ST is greater than K, then anyway option won't be exercised. So no transaction at time capital K. So for writer, the profit can be at most P rupees, okay, and the loss can be at most K rupees. Of course, we are talking per unit. And for holder, profit can be at most K rupees and loss can be at most P rupees. Is it okay? So in put option, you are having a right to sell something at a given price. So again, if we come to the mattress example, now the roles are reversed. Okay. So suppose, see, your junior was holder of the call option. So he or she bought the call option because they were interested in purchasing the mattress. Now, on the other hand, you are interested in selling the mattress. So you don't want a right to buy. What you want is a right to sell. So you may buy a put option from your junior. So you may become holder of the put option, senior, and junior may become writer of the put option. In that case, what would happen? Reverse scenario. So now you would pay rupees 25 to your junior. Okay. And junior receives rupees 25. And in return of that rupees 25, he has to promise that on June 15, he or she will buy the mattress from you at say rupees 400. Okay. But again, because you are now holder of the option as a senior, you have a choice. As a holder of the option, you have a choice. What choice you have? You keep looking for other prospective buyers. So if you say find someone who has got more than and who is ready to pay more than 400 rupees, you simply sell to that person and you tell your junior, tata bye bye, we don't have to do any transaction. Okay. On the other hand, if you don't find anyone who is ready to buy from you at more than 400, you force your junior to buy it from you, irrespective of the fact whether the person now needs the mattress or not. Some other, maybe your classmate, some other classmate of you might be willing to offer similar mattress at rupees 300, but your junior doesn't have a right. He has to buy your mattress from you by paying rupees 400. Okay. Is it okay? So this is put option. So you have call option which gives you right to buy and put option which gives you right to sell. What we discussed now, both these are European options. European call option and European put option. What is the difference between European and American? In American put option and call options, instead of at T, the option can be exercised anytime between 0 to T. Okay. So in European option, you can do the transaction only at T. In between, even if the things are favorable to you, you don't have a choice to exercise the option in between somewhere. Whereas in American option, you have a choice. So you can exercise your option, means you can do the transaction at any time between 0 to T. You means of course holder has to decide. Writer doesn't have any rights. Okay, writer has written away his or her rights. So holder of the option can decide that okay, at this time the prices seem more favorable to me. So I'll exercise the option here and the transaction is closed. Once you exercise the option here, of course things are over. So nothing is going to happen in this part. You can't exercise it more than once. Okay, only once. So this is the difference between European and American. In European, the choice is only at time T. In between 0 to T, no transaction is going to happen. Whereas in American, you have a choice as a holder of the option. So holder of the option can decide to exercise the option somewhere in between. Is it okay? So it's very, very, very essential that you understand what is put option, what is call option and the differences between them. Okay. I've seen people getting confused even at the end of the semester. That shouldn't happen. Please try to be, clear in the definitions of put and call option. Read through these things once again and make sure that you understand it well. Okay. let us stop here. Thank you.